Hi, everybody. Thanks for turning into Peeling Back the Label. Today I have a very, very special guest, Marilyn Simon Rothstein. Thanks for coming on, Marilyn. I appreciate you coming on.
I love things.
Thank you so much. Today we're going to talk to Marilyn about, well, about, I guess maybe both about our lives in comedy. Okay, we'll get into that in a minute.
Mm.
But she wrote Crazy to Leave You, Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, Lift and Separate. And then October 15th of this year, she has a new book coming out called Who Loves You Best. It's available for pre-order. We'll talk about that later. Marilyn grew up in New York City, and her first writing gig was with 17 magazine, right? That's when you started your career, which that's cool.
Yes.
You
Mhm.
married the man you met in the elevator. We'll have to talk about
Still,
that.
still
And,
married to the man.
and you owned an award-winning ad agency for over 25 years. So you got it going.
Or I did, right?
No, no, no. You got it going. As Grace Salmon would say, one of my author friends,
Yeah.
we're not done yet. We're not done yet.
No,
We're not done yet.
we're starting. We're starting.
Yeah, there you go. A new chapter in our lives. And the reason why I'm saying very comedic is because Marilyn and I were supposed to do an Instagram live. It wouldn't work. So then we had to switch over to Zoom. And here we are. And I loved the reason why I got a hold of Marilyn is because my book club read book club read Crazy to Leave You. And that book was hysterical. I loved the banter, between the family, and just the whole book was funny. Like we were at a time in our book club where we were reading, I guess, serious books. And then we all decided, you know what, we need a light book. And that book came in at like the perfect time. I mean, when everybody gathered at the meeting, everybody was so happy, like they couldn't wait to talk about the book because it was so light and fun and family, and everybody could relate to it, and all that kind of stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about the book and what inspired you about writing that book and whatnot, Marilyn?
Well, you just made my day because my favorite thing that someone tells me about one of my books. Oh, look, I just happen to have it here.
Yay.
Imagine that. Look, it's even on my cup.
Oh, there
Anyway,
you go.
I'm an amazing human being. It's when people tell me they were reading a book of mine in bed and they were laughing and their husband or their partner got annoyed and got out of bed, I always want to go, why don't you thank me for getting rid of him? Because I mean, they hug the whole bed. So that's the biggest that I can have. And the other compliment that just makes my day is when someone says their book club was reading really heavy duty stuff and they wanted something they could laugh about and they chose my book and it worked out. That just that's why I write. I write because I want to entertain people and I want to give people something to smile about, so that when you can leave everything that's going on in your life and just settle in somebody else's life in a book and just have a good time with them.
Agreed. No, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I'm so happy
So
that you wrote that
thank
book. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. No, we loved it. We had a really great time talking about the book. It was at the right time, the right place, the right moment. And now, I haven't read any of your other books, but are most of your books more on, the lighter side?
um, all my books are light, and honestly, as I go along, they get lighter. That doesn't mean they have less pages. And that just means I go more for the humor. When I wrote my first book, Lift and Separate, which is the story of Marcy Hammer, whose husband, the bra czar, leaves her after
Is
33
that a
years
real
of
word?
the bra czar or
Yeah.
lift and the bra. I made that up. The bra
Oh,
czar. He
okay.
owns the world's biggest bra company, and then he leaves her for a lingerie model who's like a 32 triple D and
Oh my God.
and then she has to go figure it out. So that was Lift and Separate, which of course the title comes from the old Playtex ad,
Yes.
but nobody under 40 knew that. So I had a fight to get my title, even though I knew it was really funny. But there were in the marketing group that was deciding on the title, there were several younger people who didn't think anybody would know what lift and separate meant. And of course, I know. So, and anybody who had seen those ads know. And so I was told that if I make it really funny, I'm going to have a really hard time getting published because it's my first book and it's really hard to publish humor. So Lift and Separate is my most serious book,
Okay.
even though it's funny.
Okay.
As I went along, I found myself enjoying being funny more until I got to the latest, Who Loves You Best, and I just, had a party. I had a party in my office. And I hope you have one when you read it.
I hope so too. I mean, I love the cover of Who Loves You Best.
Yes,
And
look, I just happen to have.
yeah, it's like I want to know, like, I want to know about the three people. I want to know about the little objects that you put on. Like, I know they're all little Easter egg, clues. So it makes you want to
Yes,
read the book, for people who really love book covers. You did a good job with that.
I this is probably my favorite book cover.
Yeah, it's
Although
because it's
I'm
a little mysterious, right?
yeah, I'm partial to my book Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, not for the cover, but for the title.
Yes,
Because
yes.
of that title. Like if I go somewhere and it's like a book show, everyone picks that one up first because of the title.
Hmm.
But covers wise, I like this. And I'll give you a few hints. The
Yeah.
reason, upside down, look at that. The reason for the shoes, this is a story of a woman who's a podiatrist. So that's how we get the shoes. And her dream is to spend more time with her granddaughter. And she drops everything, her practice, her husband, who's just been fired in Florida, and goes off to the Berkshires to watch her granddaughter and be with her daughter. So it's like a mother, daughter, granddaughter book. And when she gets there, lo and behold, there are two other grandmothers already in the house. And one is the mother of the son-in-law, who's really not interested in the kid. And the other, though, is Granny Annie, who's the 27-year-old girlfriend of the son-in-law's father, who everybody treats like she's a member of the family and she's a grandma. So I had a minute when I was going to actually call this book Battle of the Bubbies. And then I thought, not everyone knows what bubbies mean. It means grandma in Yiddish. But I decided to go with Who Loves You Best. And I just, loved the way the designer did the cover. I was really, really happy. And I did get to choose something. I got to choose the kind of shoes everybody was wearing.
They gave you a little piece.
Yeah, yeah. They showed me it with rain boots. And I'm like, no, I want this one to wear this and this one to wear
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
And
right,
they,
right.
okay, we'll give it to you. You're not bothering us much.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm only writing the book, but
Well, that's how it works. They, I think a lot of people get no input. So I feel sort of lucky.
that's good. Now, are all your books, do all your books have the Jewish humor in it, for lack of better words?
Yes, I can't help myself.
No, I
I
love
grew
it.
up across the street from an Orthodox synagogue. And I went to Hebrew school. There were only two girls in our class of 30, and the other girl married a rabbi. So I was the failure. Like in me, it's like I could try to make it not come out, but I can't. It doesn't happen. So, in fact, in Crazy to Leave You, I have that Seder scene. That's one of my favorite scenes I ever wrote. Where I don't know what I want to say what it happens, but if you like that kind of stuff, you have to read Crazy to Leave You and get to the Seder scene, because you'll never need to go to a Seder again.
Yeah, I think anyone would love. Well, I read Crazy to Leave You, not the other books, but I'm sure everybody would love your other books too. But whether you're Jewish or not Jewish, it doesn't matter, because every family's the same. It just might be a different religion, but we're all the same
Yeah.
basically. We're all arguing over the same thing, or you know, it just it never
Yeah.
families don't change. They don't change. It doesn't matter. So I think anyone would love to read this book. And if you love Jewish humor, that's the bonus.
Yes, that is. And and lots of people love Jewish humor who aren't Jewish, but in their families they have the same kind of stuff going on. And in the new book, it's the relationship between the mother and the grandmother and her daughter, who's grown with her own child, and then the grandmother who comes to visit, and the other two alleged grandmas. And there's somewhat of a jealousy story there, because you can be there's in every grandma thing, there's usually other grandmas. And you watch out of one eye. What is she getting? What is she doing? Did she watch him 4 days a week? Did I watch him 2 days a week? And I know there are people who aren't like that, but they're nobody I'm friends with.
No, totally agreed. And it's the same thing like with
right? Or
the
they're
mother-in-laws, like with the bride, one mother-in-law, with the other mother-in-law, right? What does she do?
yeah,
What did she do? You're right. It's the families and jealousy. It's just, that's just what
yeah.
it's all about.
That's it. And you can manifest it a bunch of ways. I see the humor in it, because it goes on in my family for certain, because I do all my research in my own house. I don't even have to go outside.
Agreed. Yeah, and you know what? If you can't laugh about it, then you're gonna cry. I ain't gonna give them my tears, so you might as well laugh, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Totally
laughing
agree.
feel better. When I was young, my mother used to say she's laughing and next minute she'll be crying, which made me you think I was just as schizophrenic as a kid. But that's the way I was, and that's the way I still am. Either it's totally emotional or it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
That's okay. That's okay. Now, Marilyn, how did like you went from uh, you know, writing for 17 magazine, owning an award-winning ad agency. How did you decide to become an author?
Well, one day I sat down and I was doing very well in advertising, and I thought, how can I make less money? And I thought, I know, I can become a novelist. No.
I just read somewhere if you're writing a book to make millions of dollars, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah, when you go on, now it's Threads, I guess, on any of these things, and you read people who think that they're going to write one book and then they're never going to have to quit my day job.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're actually in this business, it's amusing. But no, honestly, I dreamt of writing a book since I was in the womb.
Wow.
So I did all these other things. My heart was always in, I want to not just write, because I wrote books. I went for master's degrees where I wrote books. I just wanted to get a book published. It had to be published. Okay. So finally, at one point, I just said, you know what? I've got to do this. Okay. And I packed in my advertising business, because I knew the truth was that if I stayed in the advertising business, I was never going to pull this off. Luckily, the man in the elevator was able to support me. So I didn't worry about my day job. And then I spent the next 10 years working on an old manuscript, turning it into a new manuscript, going to workshops, going to writers' retreats, learning a lot about marketing of books. And finally, it took 10 years from the day I said, I'm doing this, to the day the book was published by Lake Union. And that was Lift and Separate.
Gotcha. And that's
I
not
got,
uncommon. I mean, that story taking 10 years, it's not uncommon.
Mhm.
It's not
Oh yeah, and
uncommon.
it's the truth is it's very difficult to get an agent. It's once you have an agent, it's very difficult to get published. And yes, there are lots, like the first book I wrote in my 30s, I sent out, I didn't know anybody. I got an agent in 3 days, but she didn't sell the book. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then I took that manuscript, I put it in a drawer, which, you know, in a drawer, that's a really good chance you're going to get published once you put it in the drawer. So nice, fills up the whole drawer. And when I started again, I started with the idea that this book is going to be published. And I put a lot of effort into that, into getting to know people, but that's not really what wound up getting me published. I just was lucky to be picked out of a slush pile.
I hear you. I hear you. A lot of people do say that. It's just the right place at the right time.
Yes.
But I'm sure it was, your book was good or else they wouldn't have picked it. I mean, plain and simple, Marilyn. But now the next step is being in a Hallmark movie.
You know, I called Steven Spielberg this morning. We're very close. And no, I'm kidding you.
I know. But you were so serious.
Would you like one of your books to be made into a movie? No, I'm stupid.
Does the Hallmark Channel call your publishing company?
No, they do not call. Neither does Steven Spielberg.
They should.
I think
That's how Rachel, oh God, I can't even believe I can't even remember her last name. I want to say Linden, but I'm not sure.
Mhm.
That was just on the Hallmark show, The Magic of Lemon Drops.
Oh yeah.
She wrote the Magic of Lemon Drop Pie.
Mhm.
Hallmark called the publishing company and said, "What do you got for me?" So the
Wow.
publisher sent a whole bunch of books, and they just
Mhm.
picked her book. I mean, that's just how simple it was. So you
Yeah.
have to tell your publishing company they need to get a hold of Hallmark because your
Mhm.
book has to get there.
Okay, I'm hanging up now to call my publishing
Yeah,
company.
and if you don't want to do that, I'll be more than happy to do that.
Okay.
Because, Hallmark needs more funny movies. You know what I mean? They're nice movies, but they need a little more a little more comedy in there just to make it a little bit lighter. And they do, but I think it's nice to have even more options of being funny,
I couldn't agree more.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to work on that, Marilyn.
Yeah,
Because I
Hung
can see
up.
it. Can't you see it as a movie though, for real? Like who would you cast? Who would you cast?
Well, I would cast. I don't care about who actually plays the parts. I've always wanted to meet Robert Redford.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So, I mean, he's way too old to be anybody in my book, but I don't even care. You know, I want to.
You want him?
89 now, but he's always my favorite actor ever.
Yes, I think a lot of women love him. Not only just for his looks. I mean, he does pretty good acting too, but
No, it's the acting and his looks, but it's also how he comes across.
Yes. No, you're right. I agree. And like you said, you'll take anybody. You can always put like a grandfather figure in one of your books. We could slip him in.
I always thought the Jason Alexander from that was in Seinfeld would be great as the husband in Lift and Separate, who owns the Bra Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
I think he even looks gonna. That's how I imagined him looking.
Right.
So there's one casting. And then I'll take Julia Roberts, Nicole Kidman, whoever's around.
Yeah,
Sandra
right.
Bullock. Yeah, whatever.
You're picking all really good actresses.
You have to have won a couple Oscars to be in my movie.
There you go. There you go. I love it. Um, you know, um, Tell us about some of your speaking engagements, any launching going on? Do you have
Yeah.
anything around the corner going on here?
Yes, I'm launching like a rocket ship. The book comes out October 15th.
Yes.
On October 17th, I will be at the East Meadow Public Library not in, on Long Island
Hmm.
with Renee Weiss Weingarten of Renee's Reading Club. She has only 57,000 members. She's
That
amazing.
that's it.
And we're going to do a lot at the Public Library. And then the
I missed
following
that. I
week,
missed
I
this.
will be in my own.
You got cut
What?
out. I got the East Meadow one, but
Oh,
what was after that? You were going.
oh, after the East Meadow Public Library with Renee Weiss Weingarten, I
Okay.
will be at the Avon Public Library in Avon, Connecticut, which is where I live, which is outside of Hartford because they wouldn't let me into Hartford. And with my very good friends, Kristen Higgins and Maddie Dawson, also known as Sandy Con Shelton. And I do a launch party for every book at my library. And we have libations and platters, and that's a whole thing, you know.
Uh,
Uh, so that's right outside of Hartford. Then I'm also going to be having an event in New York City, which we were planning it, and so I can't talk about it yet, but that will probably be in Manhattan. And then I'm on a lot of social media platforms.
Very good. Very good. Well, I'm.
That'll start it off, right?
Say that again.
That'll start it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the beginning because I mean, and your book is available for pre-order, correct?
It is. You can pre-order away, and I love people who pre-order.
Now, on October 17th, when you're at the East Meadow Library, your book will be there,
My book
ready to go.
The book comes out October 15th. This is the 17th, so I will be there, and I want everybody to buy it. I don't care if you read it, just buy it.
Okay. Now I know Crazy to Leave You is on audio. Do you plan on doing Who
Yes.
Loves You Best? I
Yeah.
actually I listened to the audio for Crazy to Leave You.
Oh,
So, and I love the accents and I mean I look forward to that when I'm when I'm getting ready to start an audiobook. It's like, if I'm reading about, a Jewish family, I want to hear the accent, you know what I'm saying? I want to hear the grandma's accent. Or if I'm listening to a book that takes place down south, I want to hear that good old Southern drawl. I look forward to that. That's like an extra bonus for me.
yeah. I'm going to write a book about Long Island, and I'm going to let you be the narrator. Because
I can't. I hate it. I hate listening to myself because it's like, hi, I'm from New York.
Well, I grew up in Queens, and my kids, when we moved up to Connecticut, my kids grew up here. And my daughter came home one day and she said, Mom, how come everybody has an aunt and we have an aunt? So, but yes, no, all my books are on audio. Dumb Lake Union, my publisher, does all that for me. And I've been really lucky. I've had some fabulous narrators.
Yeah, because sometimes you do come across a book here and there, and you're just like, I can't believe they picked that narrator. What were they thinking? I mean, I hate to say it. Once in a blue moon,
Yeah.
that will happen, like that I have come
Yeah.
across. But mostly they're all really good. I really must say. And I know it's hard work being a narrator. It's a lot. That's not easy. It's not like just reading the book. You really have to really know the book and what's going on. And were you ever involved in any of that kind of
Well, when I was in the advertising business, I wrote radio and TV commercials. So I have been, get recordings of my own advertisements, but I've never been somewhere to hear my book done, and I would just love to do that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, I even know some authors that will actually read like the forward or the epilogue or whatever. And
Mhm.
I love that because if you know the author and you know their personality, it's like it just shines right through. And I think your personality would shine right through. Maybe ask them if you could do that. I would love that.
I'm making a list of what to ask them from you.
You see?
First, I would
From
at
one marketing
Hallmark.
person to another
Okay,
marketing.
I know, I know. This is the way we think all day long, right?
Absolutely. It's like, we're not done yet. We're not done.
No.
When before we have to wrap this up, can you show us the books one more time? Because I want everybody to see your book covers and be able to know what books to get from the bookstore or the library, wherever they get their books. What happened? You
Okay.
lost them?
You know what? I had all the books piled up, and now I only see. Oh, here they are. I got them. I got them. Okay.
Okay, let's see them
All
one
right.
more time.
No, no, I'm kidding. All right. This is my first book, Lift and Separate. Okay. And like I told you, it's about a woman who is married to the Brazar. And when he leaves, she has to lift herself up by her own lacy straps. And I won't tell you anymore. You got to read the book. This is Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, which is a woman who is planning her daughter's wedding as she's planning her own divorce. And let me tell you that her daughter is marrying the woman's lawyer. And this is one too, Fred. I'm going to send you the books after we hang up. Because it's killing me that you haven't read the first two.
No,
And this is Crazy to Leave You, which is about a 41-year-old advertising professional who has a wonderful life of her own, but sort of always wanted to get married, and then gets left at the altar at 41, and her life goes on wheels. And she, like every book I write, has a family that always thinks they're helping. Do you have a family? Because my family always thinks they're helping.
of course, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
helping. Yeah, they're
Mhm.
helping. So you're crying, they're helping.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes.
it's what goes on, and I sort of think of it as a romance because she does get a second chance.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is the new one, and this comes out October 15th. You can pre-order it on Amazon. Who Loves You Best? And if you ever wondered what you should do next in life and how much you should do something just for yourself, which a lot of us, put off,
Mm-hmm.
will answer that question.
Oh,
And also, it takes place in two fun places. It takes place in Boca Raton, Florida, and the Berkshires.
so right, how could you go wrong with those two?
No, that's like, and the main character is a podiatrist. So, I mean, if you want to laugh, there you go.
No, I love them all. I highly suggest you guys, if you are in for a good fun book, read any one of Marilyn's books, and I promise you, you will be laughing in bed, and your husband is going to want to leave. And according to Marilyn,
Oh,
it's a good thing.
I'll book in bed tonight. He had surgery. He takes up the whole bed. I can't take it anymore. So I'll just sit there with my own book and laugh. And hopefully this guy will leave finally.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Marilyn. When you're after I read your new book, we'll have you come out. I'm actually doing in a couple of months, I want to do a whole segment on just authors from New York. So, and that's you,
Hey,
right?
that's me.
So,
I am
and
from,
we'll talk about, who loves you best.
I love it. And This was so much fun, and I'm sorry we got off to, this didn't work, that didn't work, this didn't work, that didn't work, but in the end it worked, which is the story of our lives, right?
Exactly, right? We laughed our way through it. That's what we did.
Ab-
So thank you so much. Have a great day.
I
Take
hope to
care.
see you. Bye-bye.
I hope I see you soon too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Marilyn.